Members of the public present, I'd like to comment on an item not on the agenda.
Yes, Chair, we have Roy Michael present. He has donated time from Jean Faenza, so he has 6 minutes.
All right, Roy, you got 6 minutes.
Yeah. May not use all of them.
That's all right.
You like that? Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Roy Michael. I am now an 11-year resident of Hemet. I love this town. I live at the lakes at Hemet West. On our east fence, 5 feet from my bedroom, is the project plan Hemet Logistics West. Now, I was able to go to the Airport Authority meeting when they voted on, yeah, we're happy with it. After I pointed out to them that there are 2 main issues that I think might cause the airport problem and also cause me and my neighbors a lot of problems. There's an issue with the airport rule stating that an open bit of water, which they're putting in a trench to catch all the water and pump up to it, which happens to be in the middle of a flood zone, and it's at a 5-degree height level from where my house is and 40 other some houses. They're going to be pumping, through my calculations, more water in there based on the kind of rain we get in Hemet than it will fit. Now they said, well, we'll have spillways. Well, that spillway is going to put it under my bedroom. Okay? I ran the numbers, but I want someone on the of you guys to run the numbers on it. In December, around Christmas, we had 1.25 inches of rain in one day. If you run the numbers out from 66 acres, that's a whole lot of water. Then about 2 weeks ago, it was 1.65 inches. Now you get 2 or 3 storms there together. There's no way what they're digging in the hole is going to hold all that water. There's just no way. Please run the numbers on it. I was standing across the fence from the guy that did the original perk test there, the engineer that was out there. Played nosy neighbor, and come to find out, it didn't pass the perk test, where the first rule of digging a ditch and filling it with water is, does it pass the perk test? There's a guy named, it's Homestead Rescue, a guy up in Alaska that goes into homesteads and fixes things. Whenever he puts in a pond, you know what he lines it with? Clay. That field is full of clay. Something about clay holds water. It has to do with the positive energy and the negative energy of the minerals in the water and the clay, and the positive energy of the water. I have that backwards. That place is an absolute mess when it's wet. There's water that sits up there by those trees for months at a time. And they're talking about this having to dissipate within 24 hours. That's the airport's rule. Now here's another issue with it. So please run those numbers, and I think you'll find they're an absolute mess. My wife and I love to sit in the backyard because we have this 66 acres in front of us. It's beautiful. It's the best view in Hemet. I can see the mountains, everything. Geese coming in and going out from, going to south or north, whichever they're doing, will gather there. You'll get 50, 60, 100 of them. They all stand in or sit in a circle, and then about every 10, 15 feet, they've got another goose who's looking outwards, and they're the guard geese. It's really neat to watch. Well, I've read about what happens to geese when somebody builds a building in their natural place that they've been coming to for how many hundreds of years? I don't know. They will either go on top of the buildings, which isn't really safe because they're right next to an airport, and they will spend a whole lot of time on any piece of open water, which is where they're going to cut down all the trees there, where the arborist 2 years ago said, oh, those trees are all dead. If you drive by there, you can see hundreds of thousands of leaves. They're living well. So these are the kind of people we're dealing with. They're trying to push this. The airport says up to 10,000 feet to have open water if you have birds in the area. The developer said, well, we're going to do 1,087 feet, and by gosh, we think that's enough. Do you think they had 1,087 feet in mind when they did all the particulars all around the country to determine how far you should have nesting birds and stuff like that away from an airport? Remember Captain Sully going down in the Hudson? It was a goose that took him out. All right. What do you think it'll do to a Cessna? All right. Now here's the other issue. All this water, they're on a 5% grade, it's going to overflow. It also has the opportunity on a big day, like in the early 1900s in San Jacinto, where we had 5 days of 5 different storms, and this whole valley was flooded. How's a Cessna going to land in 3 inches of water? Okay, so I really want you to look at this stuff, see how they're really pushing the boundaries on this. But even the airport authority recommended a perk test that I think went down to 30 feet because they got to get past all that clay. Otherwise, they're going to be a big problem. I can only imagine the compensatory damages from the 40 houses lining that fence when the mold gets in and the people get sick, and everybody knowing you don't pump water into the flood zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Any other members present?